How do I know that my heart is close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When I find that the character and the attributes of my heart is as much as possible close to the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is ar-Rahman. If I'm close to Him, it means what? Closeness of character. Am I Muslim? Allah is ar-Rahim. Am I wise? Am I knowledgeable? As much as possible in the human capacity. That's how a Muslim would define nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then when my attributes are so and my character is so close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, naturally, my actions, my deeds, my words will be very beautiful and very pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's what Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani said. And then Ibn Qayyim, before we delve into the book, he says, اعلم أن السير إلى الله, or like the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يعني, has a mountain in it. It's an uphill battle. And that mountain of the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is nothing more than our own nafs, our own self, our own ego. So there is something on my path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that causes it, there is a journey. And he says, النفس جبل بطريق الله سبحانه وتعالى. It's like a mountain on your path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this mountain is full of new things and plants and dangerous places. And he's saying, but on top of that mountain, there's another problem, another obstacle. Shaitan is sitting. Notice this analogy. And Shaitan can't really push you back. He can. Or what he's doing is what? He says, يخوف السائر. Scaring the one guy, oh, it's a big mountain. You go back, you'll fail. You're going to fall. Look how high it is. Scaring him. And he's saying what? The journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has this obstacle. Right? So in the journey of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the heart proceeds, we encounter different stations. Some of them we love, some of them we like, some of them can be like khashya or sakina, tuma'nina, tranquility. It's a very wonderful station where a heart rests. You know, this journey, right? Or the station of dhikr. SubhanAllah, what it means. And there is also some other stations like al-husn, sadness, happiness. So the book we have, inshallah, is describing those stations of the seeking heart. What do we encounter when we seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Last time we spoke about Surah Al-Fatiha, you remember? And we spoke about, that there is the diseases of the heart are of two types. Remember that? Just a quick summary, right? We said Hassan al-Idrak, Hassan al-Irada. Idrak is does the heart see properly? Does the heart experience properly? Is my eye locked on my target really, or am I distracted? Right? This is the heart's ability to see properly. And then what? The quwwa al-amaliyya. So the first one is what? The quwwa al-ilmiyya. It knows, it sees. The second one is what? It's running, it's walking, it's love, irada, volition. That's the second part of the heart, right? And the disease of the heart afflict both those, as we discussed last time. Today, inshallah, I want to start immediately with what Qayyim would say the first station. Right? So now, if a seeker is seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what's the first station? How does it start? And Ibn Qayyim describes something really interesting. He says the following: فاعلم أن العبد قبل وصول الداعي إليه في نوم الغفلة قلبه نائم وطرفه يقظان. That the first thing that starts the journey is what they call al-ba'th, or the call, or al-yaqظة, awakening. That's the first station. The first station is what? منزلة اليقظة. Basically, it implies what? Before that, I was sleeping. And that's what Ibn Qayyim says. It says, know that before this invitation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before this awakening happens, a human being is heart sleeping, but the body is walking. Imagine a zombie. Right? So he's living, he's in this life, he's managing his affairs, but the heart isn't awake yet. The heart is sleeping. In what he describes, في نوم الغفلة, in heedlessness, unawareness. That the human being is looking at many things and is unaware of them. The heart is busy with small things, unaware of the big thing, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the state sometimes of good Muslims. I'm a Muslim by birth, Right? Alhamdulillah, like my parents told me how to pray. I pray, I fast, I have good character, but nothing, there is no drive. And there are many people this way. I'm busy with raising my kids and working, and that's it. That's what life is for me. I do the regular things and khalas. There is no burning sensation of, where am I from Allah? Is He happy with me or not? Did I understand this verse or not? You know, this drive is there. Because I'm not looking at that. I'm a good person. And notice what makes me vague is this, that I did nothing wrong. You see that? And subhanAllah is said, this is scholarly now, scholars said that in many cases there are good Muslims. And shaitan knows that man is good. Meaning what? He has a good heart. And if I was to make him slip, like do something really haram, he will wake up. So what does shaitan do to that person? He leaves him where he is. Meaning what? Don't tell him to do anything big. He's good the way he is. He thinks he's good. He thinks he doesn't need Allah. Right? He's just doing the bare minimum. And we make him make a lot of small mistakes. Lots of them. Right? But after all, I'm good. I have good akhlaq. I don't lie. I pray. He doesn't influence anybody. He doesn't seek Allah. He's not working for this deen. You know, he has no concern about anything in the hereafter. Good where he's at. So subhanAllah, for those people, shaitan is very happy with their state of what? So before the person wakes up, most human beings, and this is again if you will, the Islamic view of humans. You know, the Christians will say what? A human being is sinful. You are a sinful, you need saved. You're by default sinful, a very negative view. Islam says no, insan, he forgets. From Messiah. A human being is not sinful, he's just forgetful. He's distracted. He's not aware, you know. He just gets like, you know, he gets distracted with something and loses the focus on the big thing and just gets sidetracked and forget. And therefore he needs to be reminded. Right? So here Ibn Qayyim is saying what? The first station is al-yaqin. The first thing that happens that makes a person really wake up, really look up to that mountain, really have this irada to become a murid, to seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is manzilat al-yaqin. And this is a wonderful, wonderful station, the station of awakening. Right? Right. Before I define the station of the awakening, let's look into the Quran on this word ghafla. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes this. He says, for example, about human beings. This is Surah Al-A'raf 179. لهم قلوب لا يفقهون بها ولهم أعين لا يبصرون بها ولهم آذان لا يسمعون بها أولئك كالأنعام بل هم أضل أولئك هم الغافلون. They have hearts, they're humans, they have hearts, but it's not doing its function. It does not see, it does not comprehend, it doesn't understand. لا يفقهون بها ولهم أعين, they have eyes, but they don't see. What do you mean I see? You don't see Allah. You see, you're veiled by the creation. The creation of Allah was supposed to manifest His attributes. But what happens is, I have eyes that only see the creation but not the Creator. So Allah saying, this is not the main function of the eye, it's more beyond that. But you don't see, you don't have any perception. وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ, they have ears. لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا. I hear you, but I don't hear the call of Allah. I don't hear the hadith of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I don't hear the words of admonition. My heart doesn't really get it. So, say one, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ. They're living, they're eating, they're drinking, they're having fun, but what's the difference between them and cattle? Animals. Oh, I have a super brain. Yeah, you become a super cow. Why? You know, because the cows don't think about what to eat, how to build an air conditioner. You know, they don't think that way, right? They don't think about fancier ways to eat. They don't think. So if all what I'm using my brain for and all my senses for is to be a better cattle, sleep better, entertain myself better, eat better, all halal things. Notice nothing haram. But this is ghafla. Was that it? You see that? Alas, you're more than this. Is that your awareness? Is the awareness of an animal? That's it. And then Allah says, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. Those are people that are in heedlessness. They're living, not living. They have eyes, they don't see. They have ears, they don't use their faculties properly. And alas, you are not created this way. You see the pity? You're a much higher than this. What is your real awareness and consciousness of Allah? Right? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in another verse, يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. Yeah, they do know lots of knowledge about the outward apparent things of life in this world. But when it comes to the matters of the hereafter, about Allah and His attributes and His intents and His wisdom, they're completely heedless. All what they see is the materialistic world. They're missing out. Right? So you find many, many verses in the Quran speaking of اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون ما يأتيهم من ذكر محدث إلا استمعوه وهم يلعبون لا يأتي القلوب. The day of judgment is coming near. See, am I aware of this? Am I seeing this? This is not it. This is just a dream. Real life is to come. There is a judgment day. There is something great. Is my eyes there? Do I see it? Allah says it's coming nearer and nearer, and people are just mindlessly unaware. And when a reminder comes to them, they hear it while their heart is, elsewhere, scattered in the life of this world. So this is the state of life. Now Ibn Qayyim speaks, and so what is awakening? How does that happen? What is it like? He described it. And I try to translate it to the best of my knowledge. Those who understand Arabic, they will understand why it's hard. It says, اليقظة هي انزعاج القلب لروعة الانتباه عن ركضة الغافلين. Anybody knows how to speak Arabic? Like translate this. انزعاج القلب لروعة الانتباه عن ركضة الغافلين. Very meaningful. And my best translation, it is the disturbance and the shocking awe that envelopes the heart as a result of its waking up and seeing the splendor that lies beyond its state of heedlessness. وهي أول ما يستنير القلب بالحياة لرؤية نور التنبيه. Describe it more. And it is when the heart finally starts to living. When life hits the heart as a result of it seeing the lights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala waking it up. So here mentions three things, and I'll give you an example. What does that mean? How does it relate? What is it like? What causes it? Because that's what we want. Why is it useful? So he's saying the following. And there's many levels here, right? But I'll give you an example first so that we can understand and feel it. Imagine a person, all his life, is living in a cave. Imagine that, right? He never saw anything outside of that cave. As a matter of fact, it's dark. He doesn't know that he has something called eyes. He never seen colors before. He has eyes, and it's open, but because it's dark, he doesn't realize there is something called vision. Can you imagine? And living all his life in that cave, touching things, right? And probably fighting with other people about which is the best part of the cave to stay in, and they're disputing. And then one day he moves in the cave, finds a crack happens, and it opens, and he sees sunlight. And he puts his head out of the cave. And what does that person see? Can you imagine? Trees, the sky, birds, the sun, the vastness, right? The clouds, rain, flowers. What do you think happens to that person? What type of shock is that? You see that? This is a shock of what? It's not only like, what's outside? It's only, I didn't know I had something called eyes all along. And I didn't use them. My God, I have eyes. There is something called vision. I never realized that this sense even existed. And what was I doing? I was living in a cave. Look at what And then he looks outside. My God, Ya Rabbi, what lies even ahead? This is what I can see by just putting my head out. Can you imagine? What if I start walking? What will I discover? What do you think? Will this person go back to the cave? No. You see that? Impossible. The shock that he has, the awakening here, the shock is what? The realization of two things. All along I had eyes, I never used them. You see that? And that brings what? A kind of, I would say it's not anger, but it's like, I missed out. I was missing out. And also, what lies ahead? The significance of what lies ahead, and the insignificance of what I was doing. He would never return to what he's doing because he sees something else. If he returns back to the cave, he will be telling people, "What, guys, follow me. There is something called eyes. You have to go there," right? Can you imagine that? And people tell him, "No, what are you speaking about? You're a liar." No, you have to come. Can you imagine Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam telling people, no, we want to sit here. We want to sit in that cave. There is an entire world outside. There is something called eyes. You don't know what you're missing. Yaqaba. So yaqaba is what? Now, take that out of example. Is when the heart, or the eyes of the heart, all of a sudden it was there, but eyes without light cannot see. When the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that comes from the Quran hits the heart, two things happen. Not only it brings life to it, it's reflected and the heart can now see. Not with this eyes, but from an inner eye. And what it sees is like, what was I doing? And that's a person that will tell you the following. He'll be making sujood, and for the first time, I'm making sujood, and I'm saying, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. Subhanallah, He's the Most High, and then I've never understood it this way. I've never tasted that. How? I made so many sujoods before. I've never, how did that? He wakes up. There is salah. Oh, it's so glad I didn't ever enjoy salah that much. There is dhikr, there is dua, there is this. What was I missing? How did I miss this? You see, that's yaqada. Yaqada is that state that happens to the heart, right? As a result of what that light. Now, the Quran speaks about the same thing. وَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ. Let's reflect on that. Allah speaks about what? The person, the one who was dead. Dead, but he's living. The walking dead, right? وَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ. And we brought life to him. Life to his heart. وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ. And we gave him light, by which he walks among people. What is Allah referring to here? The best way I can describe it for you from a physical analogy, and again from the Quran. You know when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا, right? Allah swears about the sun. By the brightness of the sun. The sun is there is light. Allah's nur. Light is life. Without light, what happens? There is no life. No plants, nothing. We die. Light is life. Light also I see. Without light, I'm scared. Right? So here, Allah saying, what did you see the sun? The brightness of the sun. Shamsi wa duhaha. And the moon, as it tala, follows. Notice the word tala, they always say that. نحن نتلو القرآن. We recite the Quran. You know, tilawat al-Quran translated as what? Recitation. Tala is not just recitation, it's follow. Right? Are you following the Quran? Right? And I want to see the analogy. Allah is showing us somewhat an area. The moon is not a source of light, is it? No. The sun is a source of light. But when the moon follows the sun, what happens? The light of the sun hits the moon. And the moon reflects that light. Have you ever walked and you've seen the moon and it's so beautiful and it's illuminating and it lights? That light is not coming from the moon. I don't know, where is it coming from? From the sun. All the moon is doing is what? It's facing the sun. And if it faces the sun, it reflects the light of the sun and it illuminates for others. You see that? The heart is in the same way. When a heart is not looking, إِنِّي وَجَّهْتُ وَجْهِيَ لِلَّذِي فَطَرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ. I don't know if you ever noticed this. When Ibrahim alayhi salam says, when I turn my face of my heart. Because in many cases, even when it's night time, the sun is still there, but it's dark. Why is it dark? We can't see anything. The sun is there, I promise you. It's the earth shifted. The earth rotated. The earth turned away. All what it takes to miss the source of light is if I turn my eyes away from it. You get the analogy? Some hearts, they don't see the light, they don't reflect on it. So like the moon, when the heart finally receives the light from Allah subhanahu life to it, but it reflects it. And when it reflects it, it sees. And it sees things very differently. And I can give you so many examples about what yaqada is. So, I'll give you an example. Water. And I was sharing this with some brothers the other day. So, I get a cup, I'm thirsty, alhamdulillah, we're fasting, and there's some water there, bismillah. Some people, they see the water. They see I'm thirsty, there is water, thirsty, I need water. So, me and the water, I get my water, I drink, I'm done. Good. That's all what I see. Other people see something different. You look to the glass of water, and what do you see? Subhanallah. What is water? It's life. But I want you, I'll show you something maybe you never thought of. You see, I start seeing Allah, what He's doing. I'll show you. Water is H2O, right? Hydrogen and oxygen. Flammable gases. Hydrogen is what's in the sun. The nuclear fusion, millions of hydrogen is very flammable. That's how the sun is radiating. It's hydrogen fused to helium. It's flammable. Oxygen, flammable. Wait a minute, you have two flammable gases, you put them together, comes water. SubhanAllah. Allah's a qahar. Allah can overpower things. He created water from flammable gases. So whenever I'm drinking water, subhanAllah, look at what I'm drinking combustible material. And Allah made it water. Subhanallah. So it's more than a glass of water for me. And I speak more about that later. And here's another person. I was so thirsty, I drink. And they say what? Alhamdulillah. Oh, did you see what just happened? I don't know if you see what just happened. The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَرْضَى عَنِ الْعَبْدِ إِذَا أَكَلَ الْأَكْلَ أو شرب الشرب ثم حمد الله. Allah will be happy, will be content with one of His servants. Why? If he eats something or he drinks something and he says Alhamdulillah. Wait a minute, so here's what I see. First I see what Ya Rabbi, is it that easy to satisfy me? What does it take for me to satisfy my spouse or my boss at work? Or, how much gifts, how much work they have to put. What does it take to please Allah? Say Alhamdulillah after you drink. So, wait a minute, I realized something. Allah created thirst. Then Allah created water. So when I drink water after being thirsty, Alhamdulillah comes from the bottom of it. I see what Allah's doing. He's extracting Alhamdulillah from my heart. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah for thirst. You see that? So I'm thirsty and I drink it. Alhamdulillah that you made me first thirsty, then you give me water. Oh, fasting is great. Why? Because it makes Alhamdulillah come from the bottom of my heart. I've never seen this before. That's a heart that yaqada does this. Now, as we speak of yaqada, something that can be now problematic with this. And I'll tell you what Ibn Qayyim says. And again, I'll go with one of his statements and then please bear with me. He says the following. وهي أول ما يستنير قلب العبد بالحياة لرؤية نور التنبيه. Right? And it's when the heart, as we said, first is illuminated by this light and starts to walk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a result of that. Right? He describes it as to wake up from the state of ghafla and to move away from the ditch of fatr. Right? And it's when the heart is brought back to life as a result of the seeing of the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now here is a problem, and I'll tell you what it is. Because sometimes the stations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we learn from again in this book, it says be careful. When Allah opens onto you those stations and you see them, a hal develops. A hal meaning what? A state. Yaqada has a state in the heart. Like you remember that person that puts it's a feeling, right? It says be careful. The nafs. Al-hal mahalluhu sadr. Those states and emotions and wonderful things happens, it's here. Was-sadr baytul qalbi wal-nafs. And the sadr is the house of the heart and the nafs. And the nafs, when a state like that comes, jumps to take its share from it. I'll give you a quick example. Let's say I came to the masjid, right? For Salat al-Tarawih, the Sheikh, oh mashallah, we have Sheikh Mashari Rashid here, I didn't know he's coming, let's say, he starts reciting, I've never heard this recitation before, and my heart, a state is high. My heart moves. The word starts to move me. And all of a sudden I start to what? Cry. And feel like that. Oh my God, this is so wonderful, this is so good, right? Now, the heart took a part of it, but the nafs also was like, I enjoyed that, right? Enjoyed it. So next day, I want to come to the masjid. Why? Because of Sheikh Mashari Rashid, right? Because I want the same state. What if I come to the masjid and it's a different sheikh? And he recites and his voice isn't that great and I feel nothing. What happens? Will I continue? You get it? No. I leave. I didn't feel the state. Worse. Sometimes when Allah gives us a state, and sometimes those states are like yaqadha. Yaqadha has strength as we speak. And the nafs قد تستولي النفس على العمل الصالح وتصيره جندا لها فتصول به وتضغط فترى الرجل أسهل ما يكون أطوع ما يكون أعبد ما يكون وهو عن الله أبعد ما يكون. Says the nafs sometimes might grab your good deeds, your good state, it will grab it. Why? It will boast with it and it will inflate. And you will see a man most obedient, most khashi'ah, he cries out tears and he obeys and he prays. أطوع ما يكون most obedient, yet from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he is the furthest as it exists. Shaitan is an example. What made him so arrogant? Isn't it his ability to worship? The nafs took that. Sometimes the nafs, you discover it doesn't just brag with worldly things. Yeah, I can brag with worldly things, but I can brag more with I memorized the Quran. I give lectures and thousands of people sit here. I like that. See that? Oh, last night, mashallah, I prayed with Surah Al-Baqarah. أنا من الخاشعين. أنا من القانتين. You see? I might never speak to people about it, but when I'm walking, how am I feeling about myself? See, and the next day, yeah, go ahead and pray more. It's dangerous. So, Yaqadha, Ibn al-Qayyim tells us to follow, right? And this is actually quoted by a scholar. He says, Allah, ما أنفع هذه اليقظة لمن أحس بها. This state of awakening is extremely powerful and useful. وأشد إعانتها على السلوك. It is very powerful agent to help you on the journey of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nay, Abu Madi and other scholars said, انزعاج القلب لروعة الانتباه أفضل من 1000 عام في العمل بالرياضة. This state of yaqadha, when it happens, it is more influential on the nafs, more influential on the ability to obey, more than 1,000 years of working on myself. Meaning what? And I'll be very frank with you. When yaqadha happens, this state of awakening happens. It is so, the heart is so awake, and it's a gift from Allah. You know, it feels like it sees, it is energized, it's amazed at what it sees, and now sincerely it wants to seek Allah. There is strength. So they say, yaqadha will enable, and this is one of the signs, it will enable a person to do things unimaginable. When we're in a state of yaqadha, I can pray half the night, and I can give half my money in charity, and I can wear not only the hijab, the niqab, and I can, have you ever seen a convert this way? Have you ever seen a convert accept Islam? Right? It's nur from Allah, and his heart is really shocked, and the next day, anything you tell him, he does. You have to pray, you have to read the Quran. I'm reading the Quran. You have to come to the masjid. I'm coming every Salah. And most of us say, what happened? Right? It's yaqadha. Now here is the problem. Two things. Many people don't realize, be careful, this is not really me. This is the station that Allah gave me. Meaning what? My nafs is still there. But yaqadha is so powerful, it overshadows the nafs. In that moment, you feel zero resistance. All actions of obedience becomes so easy. The benefit of yaqadha is this. When we're in that state, doing things for Allah becomes pleasurable, not only easy. Now here is the problem. One, be careful. This is not really me. This is what? A state, a station. It's a gift. My nafs is still there, I need to work on it. Because many people, that's what happens. They come and they do like, I said crazy things. I'm never listening to music again. I'm praying 5 times in the masjid, and I'm doing this, and I'm, right? And then what happens after 2 years? You guys know. And they warn you, futur. They tell you, be careful. Among the signs of the road, futur is expected. If you have yaqada, be careful. It's not, sometimes it's not permanent. Don't think you changed. You see what they tell you, warning. Lest, because shaitan tricks people. After 2 years, I want to smoke. I don't want to read Quran. And then shaitan comes and tells you, didn't I tell you you never changed? See, you failed. You reverted back. Man, it was all a lie. And that person does what? Oh, he's right. And he falls back. You see the idea? So, yaqada, the first thing is what? It gives so much energy for us to do things, right? Which is good. But the warning is 2 things. Number 1, be careful. Don't attribute that to yourself. It can be taken away. It might not last. And if it doesn't last, guess what? It's okay. It can come again. Don't think that this is like, what happened? I used to love to pray, now I don't love to pray. That's normal. No, if it happens, may Allah protect all of us, but if it happens, it's expected. Yaqada puts you in that state. If futur comes, spiritlessness comes. That's a part of the path, and there is cures for it, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, the most dangerous part of yaqada. This is really the warning here. People that, even Muslims, well, you see a teenager and then all of a sudden he goes to the masjid and he becomes religious, good, and he wakes up and he becomes so, zealous, and then he goes back to the parents and, oh, what are you guys doing, right? What is the second dangerous thing? The nafs. When it grabs this yaqada, it starts to look on people and say, hey, why aren't you praying in the night? Why aren't sister, hijab, brother, your beard? See what's going on? Because it feels easy for me. I want you to notice this. Because Allah gave me something and I didn't realize that it's a special gift. This is what you have is something special that Allah gave you, yaqab. But it seems so, salah is so easy, dhikr is so easy, dua is so easy. Why aren't you doing it? Then I start speaking down to people. See what can happen. Man, Muslims are lost. Nobody prays anymore. Alhamdulillah, that prayer is easy. Guess what? This yaqab is removed, you will struggle. And many people, they might have a futur, but in their struggle against their futur, they don't want to pray, but they make themselves pray. They might be more, rewarded by Allah than you. So the pit of yaqada is what? The pitfall is what? That if I grab it, then I look down on people because of what Allah gave me. Because I think everything is easy and I don't realize this is a gift. It's not normal. Be very careful when we wake up not to put other people down. This is the problem. One word. Self-admiration. This is the problem with that station of yaqad. Now Ibn Qayyim says yaqad has 3 types of lights. And I maybe finish there. He says the first, and this is again a sign of a person of yaqad, and this I think is the most important one. It says لحظ القلب إلى النعم على اليأس من عدها والوقوف على حدها ومعرفة المنة بها. One of the first things that happen, a sign of yaqada is what? The heart starts to see the ni'am of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first thing the heart sees, beyond the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is, my God, I'm immersed in Allah, so generous, Allah, the blessings around me. It starts to see, I'm surrounded with blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way I never seen before. And I become, it's not 1 or 2 or 3, وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. This ayah, وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. It's actualized. What does that mean? Let's take this example of water. I'll just give you a quick example. Remember the water thing? Yeah, I drank a glass of water. But how did it come to me? What did Allah do for me to drink? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أَلَمْ تَرَوْا أَنَّ اللَّهَ سَخَّرَ لَكُمْ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَأَسْبَغَ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعَمَهُ ظَاهِرَةً وَبَاطِنَةً. Didn't you see, notice, that Allah Allah subjugated to you all what's in the heavens and the earth. Subjugated meaning He put you in control, everything is working for you. And He gave you with His blessings, outward and inward. What does this say? For me to drink a glass of water. Analogy. I always give this analogy. Imagine a young girl and his father tells him, your birthday is tomorrow, hey, I have a gift for you. What is it? Right? And he says, okay, here. It's a chocolate cake. Okay, nice. But wait, Baba, we live in the desert. We don't have chocolate here. Where did you get that from? He says, no, you don't understand. This chocolate is not from here, it's from South America. And I had to buy a land in South America for you to eat that chocolate cake. Here's what I did. I bought a land over there, planted things. I made a factory, I hired people, then I bought aeroplanes, and I hired some pilots. And the strawberry on the top of this is organic and this is raised in that place. And then I hired an artist, the box. I hired an artist to draw on it, and the flowers are from this place, and then I gathered it all, and I had it fly to you right here so that you can eat the chocolate. About the chocolate cake. What will that daughter say? Baba, first, are you that influential? Mike, are you that rich? Yeah. But you hired people for me to eat a chocolate cake? Yeah. Didn't you want the chocolate cake? Look what I do for you to eat a chocolate cake. How long did it take? Well, I started working last year. The plants and the factory. The water that we drink, is it any different? I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. Where is my food and water coming from? Explosions, nuclear explosions in the sun. That's where it's coming from. This star, all the heat and millions of degrees, and then the light falling onto an ocean. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, water evaporating. I need to drink. Look what's happening. Allah is extracting water from salty water. It evaporates. How did He carry the water to me? Not in pipes. He carried it in the air. Have you ever seen a cloud? Have you ever thought about the weight of a cloud? ويمشي السحاب الثقال. Some of them are 100,000 tons. Look what Allah does. You need to drink 100,000 tons, and I carry it on top of your head, and it looks nice and fluffy and white, right? And then when you need to drink, if Allah opens the water and it falls, we're going to be flooded. No, it comes down like rain. Very nice, right? Very nice sound, and then creeks and rivers, and and it goes down and delivered to you. For me to drink. The water I'm drinking, did it come from the Indian Ocean, the Pacific Ocean? When did it start? Every time I see a cloud, that's what I think about. Well, Subhanaka ya Razzaq. This is a provision of, who knows, maybe the provision of some animal somewhere in the next month. It's right there. This is what you would do for me to drink. But then the heart sees something else. Ibn Qayyim says, and whoever sees the ni'am of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only in worldly things, does not have any portion of that light. Today I'm sitting with you, we're speaking about the aqab, and we're speaking about the Ibn Qayyim, and we're speaking about, and subhanAllah, that's the food of the heart. The heart needs food. The heart will die. Where is the sun? Like water, sometimes Allah stores it on top of the mountain, ice, The food of my heart, I need regular ilm, I need regular reminders. Where is that coming from? What did you eat today? What did your heart eat today? Where is it coming from? Oh, well, we attended the masjid, and there is this Hassan here who spoke about Yaqab. It was good enough, alhamdulillah. You saw me. Is that it? I need water. I just opened the tap, the water comes, I put the glass, I drink. Really? Do you think this is how you got water? How did you get that food? It's not me. When did it start? When Allah wants to see the food of the heart, the Quran that I quoted, the hadiths of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, started with Allah. He sent it by Jibreel. Look what Allah's using. Not clouds. The best of angels. And Jibreel takes it to who? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he had to do, takes it to who? The companions. And the companions, they fight wars. I'm from Egypt, Amr ibn al-As. And he goes and he opens Egypt, and scholars come. This knowledge I'm reciting to you, can you track it? Qayyim, and you find the sources of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah used Jibreel. Allah said, you know Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you know who he is? Allah made him your messenger. Allah made him a messenger to you. Allah, this is the envelope by which I receive my food. It's Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Look at that. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself is, let alone the message. He used him to deliver the message. Ya Rabbi. What a blessing. You want me that much, Ya Rabbi? You see that? So a heart that starts to see this, the Quran, the scholars, the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sujood, the masjid we're living in America, that we have the Quran, that Allah protected it for us, that I have you, Ramadan, what a blessing. And the heart starts to see this and say, how can I thank? How can I thank? I can't thank. How can I thank? Which is Musa alayhi salam. How can I thank you? You are thanking. Alhamdulillah means alhamd. Saying alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah for saying alhamdulillah. Say alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah that I'm saying alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah that I was taught alhamdulillah. How does that end? That's when I start to see, I can't count it. I have so many blessings, that's a light. I start to walk and you understand how positive that is? Start seeing everything this way. You walk and now outside and I'm immersed in blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Day and night. It's yaqf. It gives us this. And then quickly the second look will be inward. My God, I wasn't up to par. I didn't do enough. It's not because I'm afraid of hellfire. I didn't say thank you enough. What do I do? How do I want more? Ya Rabbi, how can I get closer to you? I start to be afraid. I start to be afraid for myself. I'm deficient. I wish I could bring more. I wish I can learn more. I wish, which act, Ya Rabbi, should I do? Should I help people? Should I give charity? I want to do all of them, but I can't. And then the third one, time is limited. معرفة الزيادة والنقصان من الأيام, it becomes a distress, a source of distress. What do you mean? Like the likes of Imam al-Ghazali, they realize there is not enough time in this life to do all, Ya Rabbi, there's so many things to learn, there's so many things to experience, all your names and attributes, there's so many ilm to learn, so many things, good things to do. See, it's positive. And I'm afraid that I will not live long enough to even discover about you what I need to discover. And I long for it. Another station. Long, Ya Rabbi. And then you read like one of the narrations when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Dawood, if those people who are turning away from me, running away, know how much I long for them and for them to come close to me, if they just know that, their hearts will melt out of love to me and they will come flying to me. Ya Dawood, this is what I prepared for people who are turning away from me. What do you think I prepared to the people that long and are coming towards me? If we said that, like the man that put his head out of the cave as we discussed, that's just putting my head out. I wonder if I woke, what will I see? That's the station described by Ibn Qayyim and its lights. Finally, they say three things quickly. Problem with yaqala when it happens, and first it happens for many reasons, and we have it. I'll give you one example. Small yaqalas in our house. I'm sitting, may Allah protect all of us, and I've always watched for this way in California. When was the last earthquake? You guys remember? Remember the last, right? Where was you, where were you, and what did you do? Pay attention to that because it's very interesting. Like I remember, I was at work, I still remember it, right? And people are busy, not hands working, right? Then their own thing, and then the earthquake happens. You see the face of the people around you, what happens? What is that? It can be now. Right? All of a sudden, the reality of this world is shattered, and the real thing is, I can die. What will happen? you can see it for a second there. Wallahi, they do this, right? Right? And then it stops. What happens next? Allah, see this, Allah's doing what? This giving, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's like a person who's sleeping, he wakes up, and then, what happens? Wallahi, it's very interesting. If he starts to do what? The earthquake stopped. Back to normal. See that? Some people will joke about it, some people will quickly go to the internet, let's find how many Richters, distract from the reality that I could die. Go back to sleep, go back to normal, go back to living. Because that was a disturbance. I don't want to face that. You see that? Some of us that wake up, that's a waking up. How do I retain it? You know how do you retain it? Respond. Yaqada is an invitation. It's an invitation from Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, many places, Allah is the one that always responds to us. Allah Mujib, He responds. But yet, Allah asks us to respond. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم. Oh, you who be attained faith, respond. Respond to Allah and His Messenger when they invite you to that which brings you life. Respond. If I receive, it happens so many ways. Sometimes you'll be sitting on the beach or something, and my heart feels something. Sometimes I hear a lecture. You know, there is something that happens. Don't do this. Don't. If it happens, guard it while you're responding. So, an earthquake happens, I felt that. What's that? I leave work. Go somewhere, pray to workers. Respond. Yes, Ya Rabbi, I got the message. Respond, maybe go to the message. Maybe read some Quran. Take time out. Don't distract. You see, respond to the call. Come. It's Allah saying, wake up, come. I woke up, I go. Respond quickly. Guard it with dhikr. Guard it with dhikr, not the opposite. And then the third one, suhbat al-salihin. Company of righteous people. That's how we keep yaqada awake. So 3 things. Respond. When this flash happens in my life, and it happens in so many, sometimes it's an accident. I'm driving, a truck came and oh my God, he just missed me. That's a reminder. Oh, let me call my mom, tell her what happened. Wait. Can you take it to Allah first? Can you sit in it? Don't be in a hurry. Right? So respond to it. It's a call. Respond. Second, dhikr. Because dhikr is opposite of ghafla. Right? And that's another station we'll speak about, inshallah, Allah gives us it. And then the third one is what? Suhbat al-salihin. Because when we're with people, they're good people, but they're not in remembrance of Allah, it distracts our minds. So be in the company of those who remembers Allah. Or in his, there are certain people, you see them. Hassan al-Basri was one of them. He said, when seen, Allah's remembered. And I finished with one story. I hope you can see the benefit of this. When yaqada, a person is so awake and focused on the important things of life, right? Salim ibn Abdullah. And he was a person, he didn't have much. And the Khalifa of the Muslims. Khalifa. And he sees Salim ibn Abdullah, and he wants to be a Khalifa. So he goes to the masjid, Salim ibn Abdullah is there, and he says, Ya Salim, alaka haja. Khalifa. Do you want anything? Do you have any need? I can satisfy. Do you ask? Ask me. And he looked at him and looked at the heart of Allah and says, أستحي أن أكون في بيته وأسأل غيره. Be shy to be in his house and I ask somebody else. So the Khalifa was okay, right? So he did something. He went outside and waited. Salim finished, went outside and said, we're outside the masjid, right? Salim hajatak. Anything, what do you want? I'll give it to you. And he looked to the Khalifa and look at that heart. He says, أَمِنْ حَوَائِجِ الدُّنْيَا أَمِنْ حَوَائِجِ الْآخِرَةِ. Of the needs of this life or the needs of the hereafter? Because I have needs, and there are 2 types. See, you study psychology, Maslow's pyramid of human needs, it's all well needs. They miss this completely. I need my heart to be intact. I need more in the hereafter than here. So he asked him that question, do you mean the needs here or the needs there? And he said, oh, well, the needs here. I can tell you there. حاجات الدنيا. Said, لم أسألها الذي يملكها فكيف أسألها ممن لا يملكها. I didn't ask about those from the one that owns it. How can I ask them from the one that does not own it? You see the strength of when a person is awakened? That's the part that we have to, again, be careful with yaqظة, because it brings strength, resolution, ability to obey, if not guided by ilm, if not guided by tarbiyah. If the nafs is there, yaqظة can be extremely destructive. Be very careful from that. You hurt other people, and you become so arrogant, so powerful. And Allah does not like that. When we do that, not only does Allah take it away, if He wants good to us, He breaks that person. As Ibn Qayyim shows me. If you brag and Allah wants good to you, unfortunately, Allah, one way is what? You have to make a mistake. You have to slip and sin. Heart has to be broken so it can be mended again, so that it's gentle. So there is no self-admiration in it. So when we put something in it, it doesn't prescribe it to Himself. It's like, Ya Rabbi, what did you put in my heart? It's from you. You can take it away anytime. The light that people see, if they see in me, is not my light. It's the light coming from the sun, the light coming from Allah and His Messenger. And it can be vague anytime. I'm dark, reflect by myself. My heart is dark without the light of Allah. My heart is dead without the light of Allah. Without Allah, I'm nothing. I need it more than you. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring this state of awakening to our hearts. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to worship Him as if we see Him. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fuse our hearts with humility and all good morals that He and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam loved. اللهم حققنا بسلام الإسلام وأمن الإيمان.